guys, it's Tammy, and I just wanted to talk a little bit more about our move to Wyoming that we just did recently. I had a really bad night last night, and I wanted to talk about that because I feel like when you watch these videos about people that move from out of state, people that start homesteads, I feel like something isn't talked about a lot, or maybe it is, but I just haven't seen it, is the stress and anxiety that goes along with one just moving in general. So even if you moved from, like one part of your town to another, or one part of your state to another, it's really, really difficult. It's very stressful. Mentally, I felt like when I was back in Washington, I was completely off my rocker because I had gotten sick, and I've talked about this a few times, and I'll probably talk about it like forever. I ended up getting pneumonia at the beginning of May, me and my husband. So for like 2 weeks, we were trying not to go around like any family members or any friends, and it was right, we were going to move on the 23rd, so getting sick for 2 weeks at the beginning of the month felt bad because I felt like I couldn't spend as much time with like my kids. I would say, hey, like I want to spend time with you this week, and then I would get sick. Then the next week I'm like, I'm not better, like I can't come see you guys. So it was hard. It was hard because I felt like I missed out on a lot of time with my kids. And anyways, when we moved here, I felt good. Like this house feels really nice and it feels really peaceful. And I honestly, even though I loved my old house, I used to say it all the time, like I feel like I live in a mansion. Even though I didn't live in a mansion, I lived in a split level house in a neighborhood. And I just constantly felt like I was so blessed to have such a nice house. And I didn't grow up with money, and me and my husband had to work really hard, and we had a lot of debt at some point, but we turned things around. And eventually, as the kids got older, we bought a bigger house. And when we moved into that house, I honestly felt like I lived in a mansion. And it's funny to say that because I've seen like a lot of friends of mine with way bigger houses, way nicer houses, completely upgraded. And mine didn't have any of those things. Everything that was in my house, me and my husband did ourselves. We put a lot of time and energy into that house. And my garden, it was huge and nice. And I had fruit trees. It was 8 years of building that garden. And I would look around and say, I can't believe I'm going to leave all this. But I knew that I was coming here for better reasons. And now that I'm here, it's another blessing. It's like God knew I needed something even better than that. And so he gave me this awesome view. And this is actually my neighbor's house with all these trees. And we had no idea that there are all these trees. My property has all the sagebrush. Like, it's going to take a lot of work to fix that, but it's okay. So I know that I'm blessed to be here. And even though things have been really hard to get here, and financially and everything else, things are still not super easy. But I'm here now, so I'm trying to enjoy each day. And I wake up and I pray, and I thank God for my blessings. And I also pray that I don't have so much anxiety, which I have been doing pretty good with. At night, it seems a little harder on some days, but moving and leaving your family and your home and your everything, it's hard. Nobody says, like, just know when you move, you're gonna have a better life. But it's gonna feel hard. It's like a snake shedding its skin. It's gonna feel hard. And it's like a whole new beginning. And because maybe because of my age, I don't do well with change. You know, I like things to be familiar. Even when I moved from one house to another, because I did at one point, I upgraded my house like 8 years ago. And even that felt hard. I was just moving from one side of the town to another, and with my kids and everything. And I remember having a tough time sleeping in the new house. And here, I wake up and I see the sun, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's amazing out here. But last night I had really bad anxiety, and no matter what I did, I couldn't shake that feeling. I did all my little tricks. I put ice pack on my chest because sometimes that'll like help you feel better. I called my mom. That always helps. And while I was on the phone with her, I actually rearranged the guest room in this house. I moved the bed to the corner, and that's all I did, and I made the bed. And usually by the time I'm off the phone, I feel better. But I didn't. I just felt like this nervous energy, and every time I lay down in bed, it just felt awful. I couldn't shake the feeling. And I didn't want to, but I took some of my anxiety meds. I even wrote down in this little like kind of journal. Well, it's like a blank journal. I think I've only written one day in there. But I wrote down, you know, this is how I'm feeling. I have all this anxiety. I talked about my day that I had and kind of where it was coming from. And by the time I was done, I felt better. So then I went to lay down again. And then as soon as my head hit the pillow, I was feeling like I was about to fall asleep. And then I would like fight it like a baby that doesn't want to fall asleep, or a toddler. I just woke back up and was like, oh no, I still feel terrible. So I tried one more time to just sit in the living room, pray, deep breaths, all these things, and nothing was really working. So I almost felt like I was going to go into like a complete panic mode, and that things were going to get even worse for me mentally. So I took my meds. They take like 15 minutes to kick in. So I called one of my best friends. It was 11 o'clock back home. So almost like midnight here. It was like 11:45. And I said, hey, she sounded like she had, was really tired. I go, I hope I didn't wake you. She said, no, I was about to go to bed. And I said, do you mind chatting with me for like 15 minutes? We talked for a little over, like maybe 20 minutes. And she's also made a big move in her life, and she ended up going back home. So she gives me good advice. She said, you know, find something there that you love, maybe get a part-time job, because I told her I'm having a tough time. Like ever since I quit my job, it's tough, like just being home all the time. But at the same time, I like being home. I like waking up and cleaning my house, and you know, I can watch my shows, and you know, I told her it's actually a little tough going into town because it's not like back home. It takes time to get into town, and you're just driving through country. It's not like in Washington where you leave your house and it's like town after town after town and lots of people. So it feels different. It doesn't feel bad. It just feels different. And I'm trying to get used to those differences. And I knew that this would be hard. I knew this wouldn't be easy. I just don't know why more people don't talk about it and say, hey, like, go ahead and move, but just know that you're going to feel all sorts of ways, and it's maybe not going to be easy for a while. It might even take a whole year, and it's like the thought of that makes me feel bad. Like, I don't want to feel bad here for a year, you know, and I hope that's not the case, but I think I'm just going to have some good days and bad days out here. And last night was a bad day, but we went into a different town yesterday. I think that's kind of where it stemmed from. And I felt a little anxious and nervous going into a different town because I said, I'm just getting used to this place. Now I'm going somewhere else. And I even told my husband, I feel anxious. Well, we met someone that right away within 5 minutes, we met someone in line where we were trying to license our vehicle. And he's like, hey, I'll help you guys out. I'll do your VIN inspection. And I told my husband, man, I was feeling bad. And then the locals here in Wyoming are so nice that it just confirms I'm in a place where I should be, because everyone just treats us like we're the new kids and they want us to feel comfortable here, and everyone's so nice. And as the night went on, I was okay. We came home and there was a big storm last night. But it was when it gets dark at night and it's time like for bed, that's when the anxiety hit. So I, I don't know. And then I woke up today and actually felt a little on edge again. And actually, since making this video, I feel much better. I feel like when you're in this kind of state where you're not feeling well mentally, the best thing you can do is call a friend, call a family member, or if you have no one to call, write down how you feel. And sometimes just saying it out loud makes you feel better. And then just pray that you can get out of this, you know, give it to God. Don't wallow in it. And you know, exercise, get up, take a walk, do things to kind of distract your mind. And so I do feel better after making this video. I'm gonna post it, and I'm sure throughout the day, maybe I'll have a little ups and downs today. I'm not sure. Sometimes I wake up feeling a little on edge, and then it goes away. And then sometimes you'll just have times of the day where it just kind of comes and goes. So if anyone else out there has moved or made like a major life change, maybe you switched jobs, I know that that can be tough because I also had to switch jobs like a year and a half ago too. So I've just had a lot of change, and I got used to that job, and then I had to quit the job to move here. So even just not working and not having that daily schedule has been tough. And I felt that way even back home in Washington before I came here. I was feeling like I didn't have a job. I had pneumonia. I had to stay home. I was feeling pretty cooped up. I love it here. It's beautiful. And I know that eventually my mind will settle and I will get used to it. But I think I'm just going to have days where I miss my kids and I miss my family. And I just miss certain things about being back home. But at the same time, I don't want to go back to the crazy, chaotic Washington, like traffic all the time, and things are cheaper here and more peaceful here, and everyone's nice here. So I think it's just going to take me a little time to get used to it. So if anyone does have tips, or they want to chime in, or if you have a story like mine that you want to share, let me know. Because I know I'm not the only one that's moved out of state to homestead or to have a different type of lifestyle. And I'm just wondering if you or anyone else has had these feelings of uneasiness, or feelings like, did I do the right thing? Am I supposed to be here? So anyways, I will talk to you guys in the next one, and bye.